Great, great. Thanks. And thanks very much for the time today. Our mission, our goal today is to give an overview of the CRM integration with Salesforce. And if you wouldn't mind just kicking it off, it doesn't have to be long, but it's just enough to have our client understand the value.
Absolutely. Let me share my screen. I think I can just grab it.
Okay.
All right, and let me switch to the right environment. And just let me know, you should be seeing Salesforce in an opportunity dashboard.
Yep, I got it.
All right. So the integration that we have with Salesforce actually goes back to 2012. It's been on the App Exchange since that time. So it's been proven in the market for quite some time. We do upgrade it and update it quite often, usually 3 or 4 times a year, mostly to coincide with new Salesforce features and functionality, but also to add new features and stuff to the user interface. The integration itself is, as far as the process, is done by Dodge ourselves. So we actually have Salesforce folks on hand. We
Oh,
handle the full process of the installation, the configuration. We'll connect it to standard objects or custom objects, meaning we can connect it to leads and opportunities. We can connect it to custom objects if necessary.
mhm.
But we do all of the programming, if you will, and the installing and all of that.
So we don't need a lot of heavy IT resources on our end?
You don't need any technically. We can do all of the process as long as they give us the necessary permissions and access. We will be happy to do it in a sandbox environment so that your team can, see that it plays nicely, so to speak. And
Mhm.
then we're happy to, move that into production once approved.
Great.
As far as the total time frame, it actually is a very quick implementation. So if I had access today to the sandbox and I knew what we were connecting to, let's just say you said to turn on create opportunity, for example, um, I would have given you a spreadsheet where you would have chosen some fields for us to map onto that opportunity form. And if I have all that information, it takes me all of a few hours to start it, complete it. That means the install plus the configuration and the field mapping. And then once we do that, then what we do is we'll bring some tester users on in the sandbox, make sure we do a training session enough so they understand what they're testing, and then let them test for a week or two, and then give us the okay to green light it and move it into production. And then, of course, we'll have everybody on and train them completely on the access, via Salesforce. In the meantime, the good part about Pipeline is you can actually have your users starting with Dodge Pipeline outside of Salesforce, get them using it, get them used to using it. And then once we have the integration in Salesforce going, we can literally turn it on, give them the permission set, and then they access it then through Salesforce. But everything that they're doing outside will all be available, so they won't lose anything.
Perfect. Great.
So let me I'll do a quick flip over here to the actual app. You'll see I'm in what's called the Sales Console in Salesforce, but it works outside of this environment, just in regular Salesforce. I just happen to like the way that this works. It's very similar to a web browser in that it opens up separate tabs, but it does work outside of this, and it works, of course, in Classic or in Lightning. It's also nice that it's a single sign-on. So what that means when
Mhm.
I'm logged into Salesforce, it also means that I'm connected and logged into Dodge at the same time. So I don't have to remember the URL or my username or password.
Excellent.
So this environment here that you see, everything with the Dodge pipeline down is exactly the same look and feel that your users would see outside. So the good thing is they don't have to relearn anything new when we actually, do get it integrated into Salesforce. All of the searches that they would be creating and have created, all are accessible. Any folders, tracking folders, all that is also available. So again, they can start using it immediately while we work on the install here.
Okay.
Different types of searches, obviously, within the Dodge projects, companies, projects, keyword searches, all sorts of ways to mine the data set. But regardless, the way the integration works is this environment, which is displayed in what's called an iframe. But what's really important about that is that it gives the users access to all of the Dodge data on your subscription without you having to host and pull all of that data into Salesforce. So it gives them access to everything. They can go back multiple years to research projects and companies, but you don't have to host all of that for them to search on it. So any of the searches that they have, they can literally just click on any of the names. And what it'll do is bring us into a list of projects. And then when we make those connections, like create opportunity, for example, you'll see those connections here in the list view. In this test environment, we've actually turned on and configured create lead and create opportunity. And from a user standpoint, I can initiate that from this view, or if I need to go into the details of the project before making that decision, I can still review the full report. I can see the related companies that are on the project here. And then on the left-hand side, those create lead and create opportunity links, they just migrate over here on the left-hand side. But I can also then bring this over from inside the project here. So if I click on create opportunity, what it's going to do is it's going to bring this full project report into Salesforce. And then it's actually going to bring related companies that have been selected. So the app actually has a selector where you can pick and choose the companies you want to see come over.
Okay.
And then because we clicked on create opportunity, it actually opened up my opportunity form. And you can see it even maps some of the fields here into that form. Of course, anything required in Salesforce, we're not able to get around that. We have different options for accounts. We can go through different options on having to connect to a mandatory account like this. We can also default some of the fields. We've defaulted close date, the stage of the opportunity. We've defaulted the lead source here. So we can do all of that as well to help streamline what your users are doing.
Okay.
So now when I save that, we've got an opportunity here in Salesforce. We've mapped in the full address of the project. And then we also mapped in a number of fields here. We have a section in this example. We don't have to do that. That's just one way of doing it where we put all of the Dodge fields into one section. But we'll map to your specific opportunity form and we'll map however you want, whether it's fields, that are selected and scattered amongst, or whether you do want them grouped like this. It's up to you.
Okay, great.
The fields that we do map, most of them can be done as a formula. And what that means actually is that the data will stay synchronized on the opportunity. So what's neat about that is like we pulled this project over here. It's in planning schematics. So obviously this is going to evolve over time. It's going to eventually go out to bid and all of that. So what happens, the stage is already set as a formula. So when this updates, this will also update. Let's say it goes to bidding in tonight's update. So this would change to bidding.
Right.
And over here, where there is no bid date, a bid date would then appear because this is also set as a formula. So this helps everything stay synchronized so that your users are not looking at older or outdated info.
Okay.
They are always one click away from the full report. That's this link here, which takes them back to the previous tab technically, which is just the full report that came in. So they can see everything, even if we didn't map it to the opportunity form. This link here would take them back to where we clicked on create opportunity. And that link typically is used for accessing plans and specs on the project. So it's very easy to go back to do that here.
Okay.
If I scroll back up on the opportunity, we also have the Dodge Info tab that we've added, and that contains those companies that were brought over, the related companies on the Dodge project.
And those are the companies we would have chosen up front. If I didn't need an electrical engineer, then that wouldn't come over, correct?
Correct. Yeah,
Okay.
these are just some randomly selected, but yeah, absolutely. If you didn't select, structural engineer as someone that you didn't want to see, this firm would not have been brought into Salesforce then.
Perfect.
You'll actually see a couple of these in this column called linked to. What
Uh-huh.
happens, just so you understand, when we clicked on the create opportunity, it pulls the full project over and that goes into one of the objects that gets installed, the Dodge project object. It also pulls the companies over, like we said, but it pulls them into Dodge company objects. We are not creating accounts off of them. We did that on purpose because you may already have an account for these folks.
Mm-hmm.
And just by me pulling an opportunity over or creating an opportunity, you would not want them to be, automatically creating 6 accounts in this case.
Sure.
So what we've done is we've created a tool within the Dodge Pipeline app that allows you to either use a Dodge company to create a Salesforce record off of it,
Mm-hmm.
or you can link a Dodge record to a Salesforce record if they exist.
Mm.
So what I can do is I'll show you how that works.
Yeah.
I clicked on one of those companies, this the firm here, this Mission Critical Engineering, and there's a tab that is connected onto the Dodge company called Match Account.
Okay.
And what it does is it gives the user the ability to look in the system, meaning in your system, to see if I already have this quote unquote KW mission critical.
Okay.
And what it's going to come back with is every company, in this case, that has KW, because that's the first part of the company name.
Mm-hmm.
So you can see the related companies, none of which are KW Mission.
Right.
Maybe you didn't have it. Maybe yours just went in and it's called Mission. You can update this to make sure you're finding, the correct company to link it with.
Okay.
If one of these is the match, rather than us duplicating this, what you can do is simply click the link button if it matches, and it makes a connection between the Dodge record and the Salesforce record. And the neat part about it is it drops a lookup field onto the account that then allows the user to go all the way back to that Dodge company record in the Dodge pipeline to see all of the projects that they're on.
Huh. Okay. Great.
So I don't appear to have one in here. This one is in Tempe, Arizona, so I don't have a match. So in that case, what I can do is use the create account button. And what that's going to do is actually take that information that was on the Dodge record,
Mhm.
automatically pull it into a new account form. If I save that, what we do have now is actually a new account created from the Dodge record. And then this related info tab that hangs off of the account will contain that project that was brought over. They can clearly see if there's any opportunities on it. And then this column here is the one that takes me all the way back to the Dodge company record. So we pulled this guy in using that data center project.
Right.
Now we can go back and look at the other projects that they're on, not just that first project.
Got it.
And then, oops, I don't want that scroll down. Over here is a link back to the account. So even if I started here, came across this company, now I know that they're connected to my account. I can click on that link, which will take me back to the account in Salesforce. So it makes it real easy to go back and forth.
Yeah, that looks great.
Here's the project we pulled over. You can actually see, since we did the opportunity, you can see the indicator there. If I click into the project, over on that left side where the create button was, now there's the link that actually brings me back to the opportunity if I want.
Mm-hmm.
And then whenever I run any of these searches, whether I'm looking at a company and a list of projects or I'm running a search, there's a filter over here that your users can utilize to filter out if they want to. In other words, don't show me projects that already have an opportunity. I don't want to have to, scroll through them. So they can use that filter to bypass that, so they don't have to scroll past all these projects if they don't want to.
Okay. Excellent.
And then all of the information that's being pulled over, the Dodge project information, obviously, all of that data, related companies, contacts, that's all exposed to the to the Salesforce reports and dashboards. So you can create all sorts of reports and dashboards off of the Dodge data, opportunity reports, lead reports. So, it becomes very useful for doing that as well. And we can help create those. We can help work with you to create those reports and dashboards if necessary.
And I'm assuming there's training, there's support. You have a team to help us.
We do.
Yep.
So we have a dedicated team and of course, full access to them, built into the app so that your users have access to that. We have pre-recorded videos for them to review. We have training every single day, live training for our clients. Not to mention we have and will, when you sign up you don't just get an account manager, but you also get a pipeline integration. Myself, my colleagues, who is dedicated not only to the pipeline integration to make sure it gets installed, configured,
Mhm.
but as well to make sure your team is trained on how to use it. And that's continuous, through the contract life of the contract. So
Okay,
we want to
great.
make sure you're using it, and it's not just we install it and then hope that you know how to use it and that's it. No, we're
Got
fully
it.
supported.
Okay, so if we need more than one training session for people in different parts of the country, that's not a problem.
Not a problem.
Fantastic. Okay, that
And
looks,
any of the other real quick,
yeah.
Dodge does offer a bunch of
Mhm.
products branded under the Dodge BI tab here. And those are all accessible from within the same integration. So anything having to do with the spec rate, the firm analysis, where you can see relationships and rankings of companies, as well as all of our forecasting. So not only is the Dodge Project company and all that, but all of those tools are accessible within the same integration. So, and again, makes it real easy to use the whole suite of products.
And it's still single sign-on, so you're not going to other sites. It's
It is, yeah, single sign-on.
okay. Beautiful. Well, I think that's enough for me to share, unless you have any additional comments.
Nope. If you do, if something comes up, you know how to reach us. And, if you need to bring your IT folks on or anything like that to answer any
Yep.
questions, we're happy to meet with them again if necessary.
Okay, perfect. Well, thanks so much for your time, Scott. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely.
All right, have a good one.
You too.
Thanks. Bye-bye.